Welcome to our seminar on herb gardening. There is nothing better than fresh herbs from your backyard garden. It makes all of your best recipes taste even better. So let's see what it takes to grow fresh, healthy herbs. A lot of the times for edibles, we pick a bright sunny area, and that's not completely different for herbs, but we do want to give them some protection from the hottest afternoon sun. So select an area that has about 4 to 8 hours of great sun that is primarily in the morning. That would be the best time for it. The morning sun is a little bit less intense, and so it helps those herbs get plenty of sunshine without burning up in that afternoon sun. Another consideration for picking the location for your herb garden is to make sure it's well drained. We get lots of heavy rain here in Florida through the summertime. Pots can be a great alternative if you only have wet areas in your yard. Growing herbs in containers allows for all well-drained soil, which is really great for them. But if you're going to plant them in your yard, just pick an area that drains well, especially after a heavy thunderstorm. I know you get tired of hearing it from me, but you've got to water your plants. So that's the next thing that is really important for our herb gardens, is make sure that we water our plants well. The herbs, especially when you plant them, are often in little pots. They have small root systems. They need regular, consistent water, especially at the beginning of their life in your garden, in order to establish and grow really well. So we're going to water daily for the first month, always in the morning. Every other day for the second month, again, always in the morning if you can do it, and twice a week through the third month. Keeping an eye on them in the hottest part of the summer, especially when we get dry for a week or two, to make sure that they have the water they need to thrive. So there's two reasons we plant herbs in our backyard: for great fresh flavor, and there's health benefits as well. Lots of antioxidants in those herbs that we can add to our favorite dishes. All of that comes from the soil that they are planted in. So soil is really important when we're planting our herbs. Of course, our favorite here is our custom blended Kirby's planting soil. It's well drained, and it also has active microbes to create a great richness that delivers nutrients into those plants and helps them grow really well. You can use that soil in either containers or in the ground. Now, because herb plants are usually kind of young and small, you're not going to need to disturb the roots a lot. So we'll want to gently take them out of their pots and place them in a hole that we've dug in our good soil that's about 2 to 3 times the size of that pot. We want to make a nice area of rich soil for those herbs to grow into. We're going to set them level with the existing ground, and if anything, we might plant them just a little higher so that when we do get heavy rains in the summertime, our herbs are not the low points in the ground. They're the high points, and that water can sheet off. Make sure to compact the soil lightly around each one of those plants so there aren't any air pockets, and then we're going to water them in really well to make sure that they're off to a great start. When it comes to edibles of all sorts, we ask a lot of our plants because we want to harvest a lot of fresh herbs for our great recipes. So we need to make sure that they have all the nutrients they need to keep growing and recovering every time we go out to do a little harvesting. And that's going to come from fertilizer. Our favorite fertilizers are going to be organic fertilizers because we're going to eat them. Espoma's Garden Tone is a granular fertilizer that you can apply to your herbs once per month. And then we also like to hit our herbs with a liquid fertilizer on a weekly basis. And we'll use Grow Big from Fox Farm, a great set of nutrients that delivers everything your plants need to keep on growing. Fortunately, this is not much of a problem in herb gardens, and actually a lot of herbs are insect repellents. Things like lavender, rosemary, or sage will often be planted in vegetable gardens as a way to help keep insects away. Pest treatment, though, is a little challenging with herbs because we're harvesting regularly and eating the leaves. But when we do need to treat for any kind of problem, we'll use neem oil. Organic, it's derived from the neem tree. We don't recommend preventative sprays on our herb garden, but watch your herbs once a week, check on them, make sure there isn't a problem developing. If you see something, spot treat as necessary. So now you know some of the basics for planting and taking care of your herbs. Let's take a look at all the amazing flavors you can pick for your backyard garden. Everybody has a favorite herb. Mine happens to be basil. And the cool thing about basil is there are lots of different varieties. Whether you want to make fresh pesto or a caprese salad, I can taste it now, it's always better with fresh basil from your backyard. Sweet basil has large leaves with a mild flavor and is great for any kind of use of basil. And then Thai basil or spicy globe basil are some fun varieties with a little more zip. And then we come to savory herbs like rosemary, sage, oregano, and thyme. And those are classics in so many different styles of cooking. We can use them to season meats, stews, and sauces. Or one of my favorites with rosemary, especially if you have a nice big plant, is to cut actual long skewers of rosemary. Use them as skewers for shrimp and grill those shrimp. Oh, you've got to love rosemary to eat it, but man, it's a lot of flavor packed in one little recipe. And of course, a great way to relax is with a warm cup of tea. And lots of our herbs can be used to make either teas on their own or as a flavor for adding to tea. Things like mint and chamomile are great additives. Lemongrass is a fun herb. It's actually sometimes called fever grass because if you use just lemongrass to make a tea, it can actually help to reduce fevers. There's a whole group of herbs that are in the carrot family that are the host plants for the black swallowtail butterfly. And that means that the butterfly lays their eggs on these herbs, and then the caterpillar feeds on the leaves. So they're going to be the herbs dill, fennel, parsley, and rue. The caterpillar is actually often referred to as the parsley worm, so don't be surprised if late spring to early summer you start seeing some little worms on those types of herbs. And the list of herbs goes on and on. Tarragon with a light licorice flavor, which is great in a cold seafood salad. Chives are the perfect topper for baked potatoes. Or what would summer be without cilantro to top salsas and for Taco Tuesday? There are so many different flavors when it comes to your herb gardens, it can be hard to choose what to plant. With all those flavors to choose from, I know it's going to be tough to pick the right herbs for your garden. But now you've got all the information you need to use great soil, find a great location with lots of bright morning sun, and to water them consistently to make sure they thrive. Happy gardening! Enjoy your delicious herbs. Ow, don't bite me. What's wrong with you? Any way to treat the person that lets you live here?